Hi, welcome to the Mindset of a Sales Pro. So today I'm going to share with you just some great tips on how to keep that mindset positive and what sales professionals do to kind of help them through those challenging days and reset the mind. When I'm coaching teams and individuals, there's two kind of methods I use. First of all, we spend a bit of time on the mindset, and then the second one is on the tactical, which is more about dealing with things like questioning, asking the right questions of your customers, overcoming objections, presenting your product in the best light, things like that. However, the mindset is the most critical one. They just go hand in hand, and if the mindset's not right, it doesn't matter how good the tactical training is, it just won't work. So how does a sales pro deal with challenges and resetting the mindset? I often say to sales professionals when they're having those challenging times, unfortunately, you don't have the luxury to be negative. As the old saying goes, a negative attitude will defeat you faster than any competitor. And in these challenging times that we're going through at the moment, there are a lot of challenges that come our way and some frustrations. So within that leadership and sales professional space, you've got to have that positive mindset. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how you can overcome the negative attitude from day to day and keep the mind refreshed. Well, first one is this: find your reset. So what will reset you quickly from a negative mindset to a positive? And often what happens is similar to a professional sports person. You'll notice that with professional sports people, they have the ability to reset very quickly. If they make an error, they drop the ball or whatever, they reset very quickly because they know they've got to get on with the game. And the same applies in sales. Is the fact is, yes, a challenge is going to come your way, but then it's time to reset. So what are your reset points? So what I'd suggest is look for something that will enable you to reset the mind very quickly. An example, what I use of mine's visual. So I've got photographs of certain things on my desk here that remind me of what to be grateful for and what I'm aiming for as well. So there might be a picture of a great experience I've had in the past, or there might be a picture of a loved one that is no longer with us, and what would that person say to me right now? They'd say, you know what, don't get too hung up on the challenge, enjoy your life and make the most of it. And that resets me very quickly. And also your goals, what's important to you, what you want to achieve. I will speak on another edition more about setting your why and understanding what your driver is to why you're doing it. And that's really important as well, because when you know what your goal is, or your why, what it does is it allows you to reset very quickly because you're focused on that goal. And that sounds very just logical, but often we just miss that. So look for the things that you can refer to and that will reset you. The other one is that self-awareness, and that's being aware of when, I guess, you've been triggered and your mindset might be going to a certain way, to be able to pause and actually bring you back into point what we're trying to achieve here. Again, it's probably the most critical aspect of what I do when I'm coaching individuals and teams, is to work on the mindset, because if it's not right, if it's not aligned, it's going to be challenging. And one thing I notice when I'm talking to individuals is often they'll say things to me like, "Oh, I'm negative, aren't I?" And I go, "Well, I'm not going to make any comment. You've told me you're negative." But often that comes out. But it's one thing being aware of the behavior, but there's another thing of actually acting on it and actually addressing it and overcoming it. And that's often the challenging thing, because often we'll talk about things we don't like, but we don't want in our lives or in our workplace. But when it comes down to it, well, what do you actually do want, becomes very difficult. I'll share it as a personal experience, and again, the importance of understanding why you're doing what you're doing and why you're doing the job you're doing, why you're in sales, and uncovering that. What you see over time is that does change through your life. Like, it may start that you're doing what you're doing to support your family, have a good life for your family and build, as your children are younger. That could be your purpose. However, what happens is in time, children grow old and they become very self-sufficient. So you decide, well, what's my why? That's was probably the big critical one, but now it's kind of moving, so I need to realign it. And I share it's a bit of a humorous story, but I was working with a very good company, actually, great people in the business, great product. I had a great role within the business. They brought me in to kind of coach their teams and develop their teams. It was, again, as far as jobs, many would be envious of it. There was a bit of travel involved, but again, a lot of people enjoy the travel. You're looked after on that aspect. You stay in nice places, and many people love to hop on a plane and jet set around the place. However, I remember waking up one Monday morning, and I kind of, it was in the back of the mind. Something wasn't kind of aligning in my. I always say trust the gut, because the gut just wasn't feeling aligned with what I was doing. So I sat in bed that morning, got up, and let out a bit of a sigh, and just, here we go, another day. And my wife said to me, "What's wrong?" And I said, and I guess I captivated the audience, but I probably didn't choose my words very wisely. And I said to my wife, I said, have you ever been in a relationship for the wrong reasons? Well, I've certainly got her attention. And she goes, "What are you talking about?" Like, we've been married sometime 30 plus years. I said, no, not us. We're all good. I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about our personal life, but I just don't know if I'm doing it for the right reasons for my job. And I just don't feel like I'm there for the right reasons. So, and she asked a great question. She said, "Well, what do you want?" And that's when it became challenging, because I was like, I'm struggling with that. So I had to spend some time on it and develop it, because again, it does shift in your career. And that's where you might find at times where you go to a negative mindset, because something's not aligning within your day-to-day. You're doing the job, but you're not really there's no real big purpose for you at the end of it, or there's no defined goal. So again, spending the time on that, the why, and of course, the drive of what's behind it. So anyway, with that particular role, and I just decided, you know what? And she said, like, if you're not enjoying it, leave. And it was kind of challenging, because, like, as far as, again, the people I work with were fantastic. I had a great team. Enjoyed the job to a certain degree. Financially, it was very rewarding. Business kept on giving me more. I wasn't asking for increases. They just kept on giving me more money. They were like, it's great to have you on board, and there was appreciation there, but something didn't align. And if it doesn't align, that's when your mindset starts to drift. It starts to become focusing on other things, where you just lose that kind of drive and passion. So my recommendation is spend that time uncovering that first. Second one was surround yourself with triggers to actually bring you back into the appropriate mindset. The third one is self-reflection. At the end of each day, when you're coming around to that kind of 5:30 mark, just take a moment to pause and actually kind of recognize, how did I go today? Was I positive? Did I get stuck on certain things where I should have probably moved forward? And that's really important, because what happens, as they say, 6,000 plus thoughts go through that human's mind a day. Salespeople and leadership and business owners, they've probably got more than that. Number of things go through their mind, and the thing is, it's important we focus on the positive stuff that gets us through, not get stuck on the negative stuff, because it's just, grabbing that thought and taking on our own journey. So have a bit of a reflection. How did I go? And again, it's important to do it at the end of the week as well, where you can actually have a really good, and identify 3 things that you want to improve every week. And how did you go? Rate yourself 1 to 10. You're probably never going to get a 10, because 10's just, no improvement. But and it's not the point of self-sabotaging that you didn't do a great job, but it's the awareness and being able to constantly move towards that right frame of and strong mindset. The other one I'd say is just be mindful of who you're surrounding yourself with, and the conversation content you're having. Often I find that can have a huge influx. Some people like to download on other people, and if you're an empathetic type of person, what tends to happen is you can take that on board and you're not even aware of it. It's kind of now entrenched into your subconscious, and you find yourself, I'm a little bit frustrated today. I don't know why, something's irritated me, but someone could have dumped something on you and all of a sudden you've absorbed that issue. So again, revert back to mindset. Be very clear on feeding the mind with positivity, and surround yourself with those type of people. Now, that's not to say everyone in our life's going to be super positive. That's just kind of an unrealistic goal. But make the effort to actually just at least be aware of it, and filter it. Like, there may be a certain individual that you do regard as a friend and you care for them, or it could be a peer or someone that works for you. You don't have the luxury of removing them from your life, but you probably don't want to, but just mindful their behaviour might be on a negative way. So just, again, be mindful of your surroundings. So last but not least, again, I just want to reiterate, in sales and leadership, we do not have the luxury of having negative mindsets. We have to reset very quickly and efficiently in order for us to do our job. Provide ourselves with clarity so it's clear in our mind. Understand that, yes, you are going to have challenging days, and some type of days we're only human beings. We'll probably go to an old way that we, and spend too much time on that. It's not a point of going through a self-sabotage process. It's just awareness of it, and that's fine. And over time, you'll start to shift behaviours and it become more consistent on the positive side, and positive attracts positive people around you, and of course, behaviours. My last comment to share is, if I said to you today, you've got a week to live, and that sounds a bit morbid, right? Would you worry about the things that you're worried about right now or during this week? Would you worry about them if you knew that? Or would you go, I'm not going to spend that time worrying about that. It's not really that critical. I'm going to move on to something more positive because I value my time. And that's one thing, often it brings people back to the reality. What might be worrying you or stressing you at the moment, are you going to be worrying about it in 12 months' time? Probably not. It's probably something that's happened at work. We often look back on our careers and go, I can't believe I got so stressed about that. So be kind to yourself, be kind to those around you, focus on your mindset. It's the key priority. Once you've got that right, then it's a case of then adapting tactical skills to, help your customers and grow your sales. Don't forget to follow me. You can also follow me on Spotify. Spotify is, I've got an episode called Sales Elevation, so look that up. And also my YouTube channel, Karl Marx. If you're looking at developing yourself or your team, reach out to me. I'd be happy to have an informal chat. Have a great day and have a positive mindset.